Find your community. Mission works to show you choice of meaning and worship.
Churches build communities. I'm your host, Bonita Cornute, and in a minute, I'll tell you about a church that is working hard to help people and bring them together. Standing tall in the Ville neighborhood, St. Philip's Evangelical Lutheran Church is committed to improving lives. Richard Ashley pastors the church, and he's here to tell us about serving people. Reverend Ashley, thank you and welcome to Open Source. We thank you for joining us. We know that your church has been there for how long? How many years?
96 years.
96 years. Pastor, the culture at St. Philip's is Afrocentric. Can you explain what that means in case someone wants to join?
Well, what that means is that in addition to the traditional hymns, we use gospel music, spirituals, and even some contemporary gospel that is relatable to a larger group of people. It also means that the sermons tend to be more socially conscious.
Traditionally, that's not been the case with the Lutheran Church, or?
No, because if you look at the history of the Lutheran Church, our denomination, the Evangelical Lutheran Church of America, is considered the widest denomination in the country. And you have a strong influence of Germans, Norwegians, Swedes, and so forth. African Americans, people of color in general, are a minority. So what I try to impress upon people is that we can be genuinely Lutheran and certainly promote our Reformation theology, but have a worship that is appealing to African Americans because we're in the Ville.
Does that impact your outreach in the community?
Yeah, well, we're always reaching. In fact, last Saturday, we had a prayer across the Ville where we partnered with other churches, and the pastors offered up prayers for the community. We're very conscious of where we are and what the issues are in our community, whether it's violence or drugs or mental health or just a needing to belong.
How do you reach people that might be involved in some of those issues? I mean, what type of outreach programming do you do?
Well, one of the outreach programs that we have, we participate in the Grill to Glory, which is sponsored by the Urban League, but that allows us to be outside of the building and to have conversations with the community. And people come by and with issues, and we can talk to them. We can refer them if necessary. We're partnering with to provide mental health services. That's something that will be coming down the pike in maybe a month or so.
It's critical.
We partner with an organization that helps people who are men who are recovering from prostate cancer.
The Empowerment
The Empowered Network, absolutely.
Tell me about that. How important is that for the church to be involved?
Well, I think it's crucial when you consider how many black men, well, men in general, just don't like to get those tests, and sometimes the test can be kind of invasive. But the thing with prostate cancer is that if it's caught early, it's treatable, it's manageable, and we think that it's important to promote health, whether it's physical health or mental health, and the Empowerment Network allows us again to reach out to the community, and they meet in our building.
Oh, their monthly meetings are in your building?
Monthly meetings are in our building.
Wonderful.
And I've cultivated relationships with the men, and they come from all over, some from our community, some from far-flung.
Melvi Shahid is fantastic.
He is.
He's committed and he understands the experience, having
Yes.
lived it himself. I think my experience with the organization is those men who are active members are true supporters when they come across a newly
Yes.
diagnosed individual.
Absolutely.
Do you find that to be the case?
I find that to be, that is the case, and I find that it's something that's needed. Again, men are not perhaps as community-oriented sometimes in connecting, and one of the projects that he's working on is to have men pair up and check in on each other, develop personal relations. And I just want to say he spoke for our Father's Day, and it was just incredible.
No doubt, I believe you.
So Melvi has quite a testimony, and that's what we he has a ministry that really dovetails with the type of things that we strive to do in our community.
Well, on that note, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back in a minute. Let's talk about your work with God's Helping Hands.
Yes.
How about that? We'll be right back.
Great.
Prayer is powerful. Prayer calls on the power of God to make a difference, first of all, in our lives and then in the world.
We're going to join Pastor again. Tell us, why is the God's Helping Hands organization involved with the church? What's the commitment there?
Well, first of all, God's Helping Hands is a Lutheran charitable organization and is headed by one of our members, Janice Hutchinson. And Janice does a lot in the community and in terms of backpacks for children, Christmas presents. If there's a child in North City or South City for that matter, who needs should never go without a present, because she will make sure of that. Same with Easter baskets and whatnot. And so it's a privilege for the church to partner with her, whether it's financial when we can, or manpower to help her in the distribution. And and of course, before COVID, she had a breakfast program, and unfortunately, that has not gotten back. And as she says, the community has changed since
Breakfast
COVID.
program for children or just?
For anyone.
Oh.
Anyone. It was Sunday mornings, and anyone who wanted a hot meal could come in. So originally it was in our building, and it grew so that they went across the street to Antioch, and we continue to support them, as I said, financially or otherwise. I think Janice has my number on speed dial, so when she needs something, it's like, Pastor, and I try to make sure that I'm there for her.
Well, now, is it something for the Lutheran Church citywide, God's Helping Hands, or is it just a program for St. Philip's?
No, it's citywide.
Okay.
She's received support from Lutheran churches primarily around the city, and county, and even St. Charles County, wherever they're Lutheran, particularly ELCA Lutheran churches.
What is ELCA?
Evangelical Lutheran Church of America. We pride ourselves on our being the most progressive of the Lutheran denominations. We welcome all, regardless of who you are, who you love. You're welcome at our churches.
Well, it sounds like St. Philip's actually lives its mission, but there's more. There's always something else to do.
Always.
During the warm weather months, I understand that you're doing the Grill to Glory. What do you find? How does that impact the community? Do you see people who really are struggling for a hot meal?
Yeah, you find one of the things that surprised me is that you find people from who are really destitute, and we have people who are not, but because we're out there and they're in the community, whether it's a soccer game or football game over at the Sumner Pavilion, they'll come by and we engage them. But we have a lot of people that this might be the only meal that they get. And you think, well, hot dogs, to me, that's not a meal. But for some of our residents, it really is. And, we'll give them something extra to try to tide them over for the week. We pride ourselves on Grill to Glory. We don't just follow the program and do the hot dogs. Our grill master, Gerald Hutchinson, who is Janice's nephew.
So the Hutchinsons are real active.
Yeah. If he could get his hands on some burgers or some ribs, whatever, so we have some variety, and people know that, and they expect it of us.
This is a partnership with the Urban League, correct?
Yes.
How does that work?
Well, the Urban League provides us with 2 weeks of hot dogs and buns.
Oh.
Everything else comes from the church. Our members or others, if they want to contribute, will accept contributions, but everything is pretty much on our shoulders.
I see.
And that makes it a true community outreach from the church's point of view.
And that would take a whole heap of volunteers, I would think, to pull that together.
Well, we are a small church, but we find that our members really like to get out in the community. There's not a lot of us, but the ones who are there, we work. Whether it's on the grill or preparing the hot dogs and passing them out, or in my case, really trying to reach out and talk. And sometimes people need prayer.
Yes.
A lot of people just want to talk, and they need somebody that will pat them on the shoulder, assure them that God is with them, and that this church is with them, and that's where the ministry is. Just being there. It's a ministry of presence. It's being there, embracing people, and letting them know that you are loved. And,
Do you get people joining? Have you succeeded in maybe drawing in a couple new people from
well,
that?
we have had people who come in and worship with us.
Good.
Have indicated a desire to become a part of us. Sometimes those individuals are kind of transient. So, but yes, we've certainly had at least one member from our efforts. Probably one of the oldest persons I baptized. And, she was in her 70s.
Really?
Had been in and out of church, but never baptized. In fact, she lives at Homer Phillips.
Well, that's a blessing.
Yeah.
Well, in wrapping this up, I'm just going to ask about the history of St. Philip's. How old is the church and your commitment to that Ville neighborhood?
Yeah, 96 years. It started off as a mission church, and within a year or so had grown and had the finances to become independent. Mm-hmm. So you consider, 1927, that's, wow. To grow a Lutheran church in an African American community, that that had to be the hand of God. And as you know, the Ville at one point was the hub for the upwardly mobile in the African American community, and St. Philip's was in the middle of that. Spurred it on. Many of our members would be what Du Bois would call the talented 10th.
Yes.
And of course, that has changed now, but we continue the commitment to excellence. I have a young lady right now who's finishing up nursing school. In fact, I think she's trying to get a scholarship from that nursing organization that we were talking about, and very sharp. And we promote our background, but we realize things have changed, and so we build on the foundation of what our forebears have done, but we're forward-looking, and we realize we can't do ministry the way we did it 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Absolutely.
But we can certainly learn from them.
Well, you've given us quite a bit of information today, Pastor. We thank you for taking the time to talk with us. And we know that you could have been doing something else today, but you joined the open source, and we appreciate that.
Well, thank you. It's an honor to be interviewed by such an icon in the community.
Still standing. Still standing. Doing the best we can. Thank you so much for being a part of us. We know that churches have become the new social club, so to speak. Consider the benefits they might offer you. And if you are looking for a church home, consider St. Philip's. I am your host, Bonita Cornute. Thank you for watching The Open Source, and we'll see you again soon.